right, we're finding percents and we're on part 3. So if the first thing that I'm going to do here, if I have a percentage as a multiple of 10, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is find 10% of that number. So I'm going to find 10% of 33. Okay, so what that is I'm basically multiplying by 1/10. And so I am moving that decimal place one place to the left, and that is going to be 3.3. Now I need to put the 4 back in there, so I can take 3.3 and I can multiply that by 4, and that is going to give me 13.2. Now what if I wanted to take 5% of 33? Well, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to change my colored pen so you can see this easier. I'm going to use blue this time. Here, if you notice right here, we have already taken 10% of that number. So if I know what 10% of that number is 3.3, I can now divide it by 2 because 5% is half of 10%. Okay, and then if I'm dividing 3.3 in half, that is going to be 1.65. Okay, now what if I wanted to do 15% of that number? Well, 10%, here I'll write it over here, 10% plus 5% is going to equal 15, right? We know that 10 plus 5 is 15. So all I need to do now is take that 3.3 and I can add it to 1.65, and that is going to give me 4.95. Okay, so we can use other percentages in order to help us come up with answers to other questions as well. So, but that's how we could do those if we didn't have a calculator. Okay, now we have 4%. It's the same kind of concept here. If I knew that 4% is 32, well then I can just cut that in half, and I know that 2% then would be 16%. Okay, and then if I want to take 1% of a number, right, what I do with this here, basically I'm just going to shift that decimal place, right? I'm finding 1% of a number is the same as dividing that number by what, right? By 100, right? So I'm going to move that decimal place here. So 1% of 300 would be 3. Okay, if I was going to take 1% of 400, okay, of that's supposed to be an of 400, right? That's going to be 4. And then what if I wanted to take 2% of 400? Okay, well then I know that 2% of 400, 4 times 2 is going to be equal to 8, right? And then if I have 3% of 400, I would then take the 4 and I'd multiply it by 3, and that is going to be equal to 12. And so on, and so on, and so on, right? And if I wanted to do 17%, whoops, I forgot to put the percent symbol here, 17% of 400, okay, same thing. I take that 4, I multiply it by 17, right? And that is going to give me 68. So to find any percent of a number, you can find 1% of that number first and then multiply it by the number of the percent. All right, so you have other problems that are on your page, so make sure that you are coming to the help sessions if you are not understanding.